Patrick. I really enjoyed getting to see you talk about your favorite games of 2021. I will never play The Longing, nor about 90% of the games you recommended, especially Superliminal. That would give me a headache. Puzzle games can kind of drag on for too long for me. I'm much more about a good story than I am a good puzzle. I really loved One Shot though, and recommend that our viewers play that. Seeing as you went the video game route, I think I'll do the same and talk about the Ace Attorney series. One feature of the Ace Attorney games that I really enjoy is the little pieces of forensic evidence the game gives to the player. Whenever Ema Skye and her funky little rose-colored glasses show up, you know you're in for a treat. I think this is a pretty universal experience for a lot of Ace Attorney players, since the forensic sections usually deviate from the normal find evidence, tap on it, examine it. Blowing on your DS mic to dust for fingerprints never gets old. That said, I was wondering how well the forensic evidence would hold up in court. I wrote a paper on this, and I can't find where I put it. So, I guess I'm just going to have to pull information from over the web to create a comprehensive answer to, will it or won't it hold up in an American court of law? Now, I know the Ace Attorney games are supposed to be a satirization of the Japanese court system, but for the sake of videography, I'm going to look at these in an American lens. Also, I sound congested because I just got over COVID, so sorry about that in advance.
Footprint analysis. This does hold up in court. The casting, the plaster, all of that tracks, considering the soft ground that you find the prints on. Normally, you'd also take a photo of the evidence as well. And I am curious as they got the database of other footprints, considering the fact that other than the Kitakis, I don't think anybody else on that list is a registered criminal. However, to nitpick here, what Ema and Apollo get of the footprint is a 3D model. The footprints they cross-reference it with are 2D models. The fact that Ema and Apollo take the 3D cast, dip it in ink, and make a footprint with the cast seems like overkill. I feel like they didn't need to do that and just have taken a photo of the 3D model's soul and compared that to the database. Either way, it holds up in court due to legal precedent and scientific consensus, which are both things needed in order to present forensic evidence in a court of law. Toe print analysis. This would not hold up in a court of law, because the chances of you finding a toe print on a shoe in the first place is bananas and not probable. Getting fingerprints off of clothing is hard enough, and that requires a special technique, a technique that is not dusting for prints. It's this whole process that involves using a vacuum chamber and heavy metals coating the prints, and this is something that Ema does not seem to have on her. On the note of Ema, technically a lot of the investigating she's doing is not her job. She's a detective, and detectives are not supposed to be the ones to collect forensic evidence. I think she can dust for fingerprints max, but a lot of the other stuff she does, she kind of can't be doing that. So I think a court could find the evidence she collects as inadmissible, because technically she's not a trained professional. There's also no chance that a toe print database exists in the Ace Attorney universe, considering how underfunded the Japan-California Police Department is. So the answer to this is no. Because even if you do find a toe print, good luck lifting that puppy and keeping it intact. There's also no legal precedent for this. Luminol. Yes, this would hold up in a court of law. This, along with fingerprinting, are two of the best instances of forensic science applied in a crime scene in the Ace Attorney universe. You'd have to take a photo of the reaction, though, since luminol only gives off its bright blue glow for about 40 seconds. You'd also have to prove a few more things. First, that the stain it was reacting to was blood. Luminol can react to bleach, copper, animal urine, and horseradish. Second off, you'd have to prove that that blood specifically came from your victim and not someone else. But there is legal precedent for luminol results as evidence, so all of the times Ema has you tap on your DSi screen are for a good cause. But you don't need special rose-colored glasses to see luminol stains. A trocanine-specific indicator chemical. This probably wouldn't hold up in a court of law. Neither a trocanine nor a spray indicator for specific poisons exist in the real world. So there's nothing I can base this off of, except for a spray that shows urushiol on clothing, which is really cool. But the spray reacts to a compound, specifically in the catechol rings found in urushiol, poison ivy itchy juice. The compound is not found in quinine nor atropine, both real compounds that I assume atroquinine is a portmanteau of. Maybe in the year 2027, they found a specific chemical that highlights and reacts to those poisons, but as for now, 2022, no, this wouldn't hold up in a court of law because atroquinine doesn't exist. Dusting for fingerprints. This would hold up in a court of law, but with exceptions. I'm going to get very picky here. Fingerprint dusting works best on non-porous, smooth surfaces. This is like vinyl, plastic, etc. So lifting prints off of a safe, off of a suitcase, a coffin, a truck are all fair game. You don't need to dust for fingerprints if the fingerprint is already visible. Dusting for fingerprints is only used for latent fingerprints, meaning that you can't see them with just your eye. So the scene where Phoenix and Emma find a bloody handprint and decide to dust that handprint for fingerprints is pointless. No wonder Emma can't get a print by doing that. That's not how you get fingerprints. A bloody handprint and a fingerprint found on that is a patent fingerprint, meaning that you can see it with your eye. All you'd have to do is take a photo of that bloody handprint and then compare it to stuff. And don't even get me started on the fact that they spray luminol, reveal a handprint there, and then dust for fingerprints on that as well. I don't think that would work. I mean, sure, it's a latent fingerprint in the sense of you can't see it, so maybe dusting would work in that instance, but then you'd want the luminol to fade away, and then you just dust in that area. I don't know, it's confusing. Fingerprint dusting is also not the method of choice for getting prints off fabric, as we've discussed previously. That piece of leather that, oh, spoiler alert, Emma's prints are lifted off of would be a pain in the ass to get the prints off of, due to the rough texture of the leather and the ridges in the texture of the leather. It is possible to get fingerprints from the leather/cloth piece found in Gant's safe, but like I said earlier, you need a special process for this. Side note, I really love this graphic because this is how you compare fingerprint results. It's not going line by line on a fingerprint, it's looking at specific points and making sure that those points match up. Really nice attention to detail there. Xray analyzer. This would not hold up in court because this is a fictional piece of equipment. Xray through paper? Bestie, are you kidding me? Even the game can't explain how this one works. The only example of this I could find was something done in 2021 by researchers at MIT and King's College regarding a note written in the 17th century. And that was done using X-ray microtomography, not an X-ray spectralization something. Spectralization also isn't a word. Spectroscopy is, and here is a photo of an X-ray spectroscope. Not something you can carry around, Emma. I'm not a physicist, so I will not claim to know what specific thing you would need to read through paper, but they're probably wrong on that as well. As for the Great Ace Attorney, the only thing realistic about those games is the amount of racism that was prevalent everywhere at the start of the 20th century. None of Iris's inventions, as cool as they are, can actually work. So that's my review of the forensics in the Ace Attorney games. Actually, the Ace Attorney games played a big part in me determining that I wanted to go into forensic science in the first place, so I gotta give the games credit for that, even though the forensic information they display might not all be entirely accurate. Back to you, Patrick. I'm going to go apply aloe to my very sunburned skin now. Bye-bye!